welcome back. I hope your summer is going well. This month I want to cover a topic in how we decelerate the golf club. Most of the injuries I see come from overuse, whether it's elbow tendonitis, low back issues, hip problems, or wrist issues, or maybe the thumb. So some of them come from overuse. However, some of the injuries I see come from what happens after impact. So we've made impact and we're decelerating the golf club. So if you're swinging an iron at 80 to 90 miles an hour, and if you're swinging a driver at 90 to 105, 110 miles an hour, you've got to have some pretty good brakes to get to that finished balanced position. Well, so if you look what's happening for me as a right-handed golfer, I've got to have good hip rotation so I can get my hips through and get to a set position there, finished position. Then I've got to have strong glutes to support that hip rotation. I've got to have strong muscles that sit up and down my spine to control what happens with rotation of my spine. Then I've got to have strong obliques to control what happens in side bending with rotation. I've got to have a strong upper back and shoulder blade area to control what happens with the golf club wrapping around me. There's just a lot of muscles and joints that come into play when we talk about how we decelerate the golf club. It's one thing to swing as hard as you can, or tell your buddies, I'm going to get all over this one, I'm going to jump on this one, I've got another gear, whatever you want to call it, where you think you're just going to bomb one. But if you don't have the proper brakes to decelerate that speed, you're asking for an injury, number one. Number two, the chances of you hitting the center of the club face when you try to get that extra gear probably diminish a little bit, because you're going to pull on the handle versus getting your lower body active and leading things out and creating a whip to create speed. You're going to pull on the handle, so which changes the face to path relationship. We could go 9 miles deep on that. Anyway, the biggest thing you can do for yourself is give yourself strong brakes. Mobile hips, strong glutes, strong low back, strong core. And when I say core, I don't just mean the six-pack muscles you can see on a magazine. I'm talking about your obliques, those deep, deep muscles that you can't see, and the spinal muscles. And then all the muscles that attach to your pelvis. Those are your core muscles that will control deceleration. Quick analogy. If you look at let's just call it a Ford Fusion, probably goes 160 maybe miles an hour. If you look at maybe an M5 or a Porsche 911, name your fast car, that's probably going to go 240, 260, maybe even more than that. The reason why they would even give the engine the horsepower to do that is because they're going to give it great brakes. So the brake pads on a Porsche are probably 11 to 12 inches, maybe even 13 inches tall. The brake pads on a Ford Fusion, maybe 6 to 8 inches tall. And the rotor that the brakes grab onto, even bigger for a fast car, okay? So think about that. Your engine is your ability to create speed, so your fast twitch muscles. So if you play baseball or tennis or any kind of rotational sports along the way, you can create some clubhead speed. Your brakes are all the muscles I just talked about. Those core muscles, your obliques, your hip mobility, and your glute strength, that complex, and then the muscles up and down along your spine. So I just want you to have an injury-free golf season. That's the biggest thing I want to cover this month. I can give you 10 exercises, I can give you 20 exercises, but it doesn't matter if you don't do them. So whether you're doing them at home or here in the gym with me, you have to have solid brakes. Okay? So think about that car analogy and how a car that only goes 140, 160, brakes about this size, car that's going to go about 240, 260, you got massive brakes. Okay? And I think it's going to go a long way. One of the things you're seeing nowadays, even on the LPGA tour, you got girls hitting at 270, 280 pretty regularly. You look at the Korda sisters, you look at Lexi Thompson, you look at Brooke Henderson, and then if you go on the big tour with the men, I mean, it's getting ridiculous. They're 340, 360 all the time. It's no problem. And then you got Wilco Niembar from overseas in Europe that's hitting at 390, 400. So, you have to have a strong engine, but you got to have great brakes. So hope that makes sense. If that's something that you're getting in your golf swing and you're not in a finished position, or you're getting here and you're falling out of it, It's probably a brakes issue. So let's work on that. My information is always below. I'm happy to show you how that works and the sequencing of events in the golf swing. And it's major player when we talk about keeping you injury free. So anyway, enjoy the rest of your summer. I'll be back soon with another newsletter. Hope you're doing well. Let's connect if you have any questions. Talk to you soon.